So I'd love to bring some energy around the concept of what it is that limits us from being able to sing or believing that we can sing. And this is something I've been navigating for the last 9 years. And I'm definitely not an expert in it, but I'm very interested in it. And I'd love to share more about what I'm learning on my journey of how to open the voice and the importance and the correlation between an expression and communication through our voice and our physical health and the purpose of life. So, excuse me, yesterday I went to a friend's house and we both want to sing publicly, and it's one of our biggest challenges. And this comes down to the fear of being rejected. And we'll get into that as I continue to share it in this video. So you might be someone who's also have a desire to sing, but you don't believe you can. So the voice is an instrument. I started to wonder, why is it, this was in my sort of mid and late 20s, why is it that other people can sing and I can't? Surely we have the same instrument. What stops me from being able to sing? And what I've come to understand is that it all comes down to our beliefs and the way we were programmed, because our programming and what we learn programs our nervous system, and our nervous system is in control of our biology, and our biology is our instrument for expression. So we're really tapping into what is it around, what did I learn growing up that is stopping my instrument, my biology, from expressing in the way that would be natural. And I think our desire to sing is really our desire to express our feelings. So I looked back at my life and I said, and I'm very interested in self-development and psychology. So I'm like, what's the psychology behind this? And what I've come to understand, and what I'm understanding and what I wanted to share today, was that when we're children, if we grow up in a family where it's our nature is to express ourselves. So in our child years, we're not really thinking about stuff so much. We're just being ourselves. And that is exploring our emotional development, exploring our surroundings, exploring our relationships with people, exploring our feeling, who we are, what we can do. We're exploring energy. And quite often we find ourselves in situations where it's not appropriate to have certain behaviors. And we learn that, okay, I'm not allowed to shout and scream in this environment. There might be situations where we are expressing a certain level of energy, an energy of expression that is beyond the comfort zone of those around us. Maybe our parents or an adult or a teacher. And that teacher will react to our expression. And quite often we can be closed down. And over time, we learn, especially around our family, because our primal instruction is to survive. And the most dangerous, the thing that will, it's our parents and our caregivers and our family that feed us, love us, and take care of us. So they are our survival. So we will quite possibly reject ourselves to fit in. And the way that looks is that if someone tells us to be quiet and gets angry with us because we were exploring our emotions, we will then learn that this is actually threatening my survival. It's more important for me to be accepted by my family because my family are my survival. And as we create that pattern, our biology listens to us, and we don't use our expressive communication to its fullest. And therefore, certain parts of us become limited. So let's say we all have the ability to have the greatest voice in the world. We all have the ability to have 100% expression. Depending on where we are on that level of limitation for how we've grown up, depends on how much energy we allow to come through our voice, or whatever it might be, the way we dance and express or talk or communicate, the way we feel, smile, how happy we can be. It's a limiter on how much we're allowed to be our natural creative self. So when I was at my friend's house yesterday, and we both have a similar pattern, we find it very difficult to sing in front of people, but we both want to sing. And we sang a few songs in front of each other, and I couldn't believe how tight I was and how my voice wouldn't come out. it just wouldn't come out. And it would come out at like 50%. So after that, I was like, I felt disheartened, and we're on the verge of creating a rehearsal for open mic sort of group where you come along and you can practice open mic. And I'm not really so interested about practicing for open mic. I want to be able to sing in front of people because I know that that directly is an expression of the limitation I have in my subconscious, and I want to be free of that. I want to be able to express myself. So my mind, after that session with my friend, I went home feeling a little bit like disheartened, really. And I kind of heard a voice in my head this is the protective energy. It says, you've been doing this for 9 years, and in the last 3 years, your voice hasn't really improved. Maybe you should just stick to songwriting. Maybe you're not really a singer. Maybe you're not supposed to be a singer. And I sort of thought, okay, that's a little bit disheartening, but I can still sing in the studio to about 60% of my ability. So it's not all the time. It's just, I know I can sing, so maybe I can just sing in the studio. And that's like a compromise. I'm like, yeah, kind of gets me out of having to go to this open mic rehearsal, and it kind of, I don't have to face my fears. And then I was thinking about that last night, and I was like, no, this isn't true. I know my voice can be free. So I went into the gym, which is, where I go and sing because sometimes there's no one in there in the evenings. And I explored singing a song that I know and I resonate with. And I really highly recommend that if you are looking to improve your voice, that it's best for us to find a song that we can really emotionally align with, we can believe in. We have to be able to really be able to express those emotions, which is the antidote. The feeling through the song, expressing our feelings in the song is the antidote, because it is the suppression of feeling, which is what the limiting belief does. So the limiting belief of I can't sing is, it's safer for me to limit my expression to survive so that I'm not rejected by my family. So it's good to remember that. It's good for me to remember that, just to emphasize that that's what it is. It might be slightly different for different people, but I think it's basically saying, for my situation anyway, and I'd imagine it's similar for a lot of people, the reason I don't believe I can sing is because as a child, I faced rejection by expressing myself, and my voice is my expressive tool. So I limited my expression so that I would survive, and now my expression is limited. And it's actually contradictory to my survival, because my passion to go forward and live a happy life is being limited by that belief. So this is why I feel it's so important. And whilst we're here, everything is about communication, right? So if we're not communicating properly in our biology through our voice and our expression, it's quite likely that our organs and glands aren't communicating with themselves either, because our beliefs are stored in our subconscious, and our subconscious is where our nervous system operates. The body basically is the subconscious mind. So where we limit ourselves in our being, we also, I believe, limit ourselves in our health. So this goes beyond just, being happy. It's like, think about how our beliefs affect our biology, and that, when you feel happy, you experience that in your body, in chemistry, and chemistry is a huge part of our health, especially mental health. We take certain chemistries to alter the chemistry inside so that we can feel better. But the most direct chemistry creation is our thoughts, and our subconscious thoughts are really what we need to get into. So this is about a whole body change. It's about our health and our life and our expression and everything. So coming back to last night in the gym, I sat down with the song and I became interested in it. Now, I practice singing nearly every day, and I find it quite challenging sometimes, but I do it every day because I need to keep my voice open. but I noticed that it hasn't really been doing what I've wanted it to do recently, but last night it did. Now the difference is that normally I go into the gym, I put my headphones in and I sing on the treadmill as loud as I can, gets my voice open, but I'm singing along with somebody else. I'm not really getting into my own feeling and my biology. I'm kind of riding somebody else's feeling, and I'm like, I can do this, I can sing. You know, if I can sing like this now, surely I can go and sing when I'm by myself. And yet when I go to sing by myself, it doesn't sound or feel the same. And then I'll go back to the music. But last night I sat down for a good hour and a half and I sung some songs, and I stopped where I was like, I'm not able to sing that bit. Why? And the old mind would say, because you can't sing that because you don't have a very good voice. That's not true. What I'm finding is that by bringing awareness to that experience, bringing awareness to that moment, I can see that I'm not able to express my feeling. It's not the note that I'm trying to hit. It's actually the feeling. The feeling has to come through my voice. We might think that I need to create the sound, but actually we need to first go to the feeling and see if we can express the feeling through the sound. You know, and if you're a musician, that might mean taking it down a few, taking down the key of the song, you know, coming slightly lower in the key so that you can actually reach that note and practice that note and then explore more. But if you think, like some teachers will say, or some people will say, like, singing is crying on pitch. You know, so how much crying and expressing were we allowed to do as children, and how much have we explored the full range of our vocal cords? And you know, if someone says, I really want to work out, I really want to lift that 20 kg dumbbell, but they've never worked out before, they'll go in the gym and, I can't even lift the 20 kg dumbbell when everybody else can. It's the same with like singing. You know, you can't just go and grab the highest, hardest note, and if you can't get that note, you think you can't do it. There is a range to build up to, which is part of our natural expression that we may have had limited because of the reasons that I was speaking about earlier on. So I hope you find this helpful, because it's very helpful for me to express, because what happens for me is that I'm bringing awareness around the situation so that I can transform it and kind of metabolize it and digest it in myself. And part of doing that is sharing it with other people, because we get what we give, you know, and when we're willing to give what we've learned, I think we get an increase of that ability. It's a way of bringing abundance to ourselves by sharing what we are learning. So this is what I'm learning. I've just started releasing my music this year that I wrote in the last 5 years. So I'll leave links to that in the description box. I'm on all major streaming platforms, and my music is about what I'm sharing about. It's about getting through our subconscious beliefs. It's about removing the limitation. And you know, that's my therapy. I write songs for therapy. And so if you want to check those out, you're welcome to, and I appreciate your listen, and I appreciate your time today, and I hope you got something from this video. Please comment down below if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer. I'm always available to answer the questions. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care.